Right. We can hear you loud and clear.
That's good. And hello and welcome to Scales webinar. I'm Jakob Bjerg Heise, head of the business side of the BI in Scales. My role will be just to get you started, and then I'll hand over to Kjell, our Power BI expert. And the first thing I should do was to make sure everybody can hear us and everybody can see us. So I'll write in the chat. Can you hear and see the presentation? And those of you who can't hear will probably not hear this, but if you read and have a problem with either the sound or the picture, please write back in the chat. And please just confirm with a yes that everything's okay, or no if it's not. That's good. Okay, now we have put everybody on mute except for the people who will present, and we would like to keep it that way as much as we can. Any comments you have or problems you will have during the chat, the presentation, please write it in the chat. We will monitor it all the way. So that's enough for the technicalities. Now I'll hand over to you, Kjell. Are you ready to show us some exciting things?
Great. Thank you, Jakob. And I hope you see my screen now, right?
Yeah. Yes, we see the Power BI screen.
Great. Yeah. So hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this Power BI webinar. Today we're going to try to show you how you can get started with analyzing your data in Power BI. My name is Kjell Otterei. I'm a consultant in Scales Group in Norway, and with me I have Jakob and Søren Sparse from our business intelligence department in Denmark. So yeah, as Jakob said, if you have any questions along the way, please ask them in the chat and they will try to answer you as we go on. So first, for those of you, if anyone, who downloaded the file I sent you on Tuesday, could you just write in the chat just to see if there are, just want to see if anyone has done it. And when I go into the more practical part of this webinar, which is the main part, because I'm going to try to use most of the time to work in Power BI, and we're going to build a report from scratch. And if you want to follow when I start building in Power BI, you are welcome to do that, but you don't have to do it, of course. We will send you the tapes afterwards and you can follow. You can replay the tape. And yeah. So, great. Also, I understand that the level in Power BI among the participants are quite spread. So for some of you, if you have been working a lot with Power BI, this might be basic, but hopefully you will get something out of it nonetheless. Okay, so the agenda for today is, first of all, we're going to go through real quick what Power BI is, Power BI Desktop, Power BI or PowerBI.com, Power BI Pro. I'm going to show you some examples of datasets, reports, and dashboards, and how you can connect to different data sources. Just going to show you real quick. And then we are going into the more practical part, which is to be working in Power BI. We're going to create a report and a dashboard in Power BI. I'm going to show you how you can connect to the data source, do visualization, custom visuals, custom measures, filtering data, drill down hierarchies, and then we're going to I'm going to show you some options of how you can share reports and dashboards. And lastly, I'm going to show you how you can set up a dashboard for your phone or mobile devices. Great. So, what is Power BI? Power BI is Microsoft's business analytics service. Power BI gives you the tools to get insight to data and to analyze it. And I think it's a tool that is both powerful and user-friendly at the same time. You have enormous possibilities for creating informative reports with interactive visualizations, and of course to share reports and dashboards with other ones in your organization. And today it's getting more and more important to have access to your reports and your data everywhere, anywhere, on almost any device, and Power BI gives you that opportunity. We have Power BI and we have Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is the front-end tool you use to create your reports and dashboards and to build them like you want based on the data source you connect to. Power BI Desktop is a free application which you just install on your computer, download it from the web. For those of you who I sent you that link in the mail on Tuesday. For those of you who didn't test it, I will show you real quick. So Power BI Desktop is the tool you use to build your reports. So then you have Power BI or the Power BI service or PowerBI.com. This is the cloud-based analytics service. So when you build a report in Power BI Desktop, you publish it onto the cloud and onto Power BI, and there you view, share, analyze your report and dashboards. Power BI comes in a free version and a pro version, just to mention that. The pro version costs about $10 US per user a month, and there are some advantages with the pro version, like more storage capacity per user, more frequent data refreshing, access to content packs. I have some links at the end of the presentation where you can read more about this after the webinar. So let me just jump into Power BI Desktop and PowerBI.com just to show you real quick before we start building a report. So first of all, this is Power BI Desktop. To download Power BI Desktop, you just go into downloads on the Power BI site and just click on download, really, and follow the instructions from there. Power BI Desktop, as I said, is a tool you use to create your reports and you connect to your data source. When you open Power BI, it's just like a blank canvas like this, and if you want to connect to your data, you go to Home, Get Data. If you click on More here, you see there's a lot of different things you can connect to. The most common ones would be like having a direct query to analysis services database or to an SQL server database, or you could use just like an Excel file, just import, and then you choose the file and upload it. I won't show you how you do it, but you just choose the file, click open, and you get the data into Power BI Desktop and can start building. So on the right hand side you have your data, and this is the file we're going to use afterwards, and the same file that I sent you. This data here is we have imported this from our test system, and we have built this database with a program called the BI Builder. That is real quick, it's a program that helps you to efficiently build databases for reporting purposes. And it's I have some links on that later on, and we have a separate webinar for that actually if you want to participate on that. When you look at the data here, you see you have the first four here. Those are our facts, right? These are things we can measure, like the actual revenue your company's invoices to your clients and actual cost, right? It's things we can quantify and measure. And then you see all these other fields here. These are our dimensions, right? You have the business unit value, for example. You can measure a fact on the business unit, on the dimension business unit, and you have the date dimension, legal entity, project, and so on. So that's here you have the visualizations you can choose from, which are standard in Power BI Desktop, and you can also import customs, which I will show you later on. We will go more into depth on this later. So let's say you have built a report and you want to publish it. Then you click on publish. I will show you that also later, but when you publish it, the report comes onto the Power BI service. So just go on to PowerBI.com, sign up if it's your first time, and then sign in. And yeah, you have to sign in with the same user ID in Power BI Desktop. Now I'm in my Power BI service, and if you see on the menu to the left there, you have datasets, you have reports, and you have dashboards. So whenever I built a report or something in Power BI Desktop and publish it onto PowerBI.com, the dataset will come here. You can also connect directly to a dataset on PowerBI.com, but you will have your dataset here. Your report is, of course, your report, the ones you built in Power BI Desktop, and then you have a dashboard if you have built that. Let me just explain quickly the difference between a report and a dashboard. A report is, yeah, a report, right? Like this one here. This is one we have built here in Scales with data from AX. And you see you have different pages on the report. This is, for example, you have a purchasing insight here, which we built. Get insight to your company's purchase costs. You can use these filters to, yeah, look at the vendor groups, for example. Yeah, I was a little bit slow there, but you see all the visualizations change based on the filters you choose from. Yeah, I can show you the production insight as well. Get insight to your production, total production volume, delayed productions. Yeah, this is kind of like something you would dig into and analyze and do filtering, and yeah, it's a great way to get insight to your data. And then you have the customer insight as well, which is basically sales, and you can, yeah, filter by countries. Let's look at Russia, for example. Yeah, you see everything changes. And then you have the project insight. This is the one we are going to replicate afterwards. So based on the reports, you can build a dashboard. And in our reports can have many pages, as I said, but a dashboard is more like let's look at this opportunity analysis dashboard, for example. This is a Microsoft built dashboard. It's a one-page canvas to give you quick insight in one or more areas. You can combine visuals from different reports, for example, to provide information and insights in one place. So that was just quick, the differences. So Power BI, the Power BI service, you log on to PowerBI.com, and from here you can share your reports. I'm going to show you that later on, and you view them and analyze them. So let's jump back into the presentation. Yeah. So now we're going to be working in Power BI. So before we get started, for those of you who have downloaded the Power BI Desktop and opened the file I sent you on Tuesday, I'm going to give you 2-3 minutes now just to open it if you want. This is strictly optional. So, but I'm going to just hang on for 2-3 minutes so you can open it, and please write in the chat if you're meeting any problems. Yeah, and of course, if you haven't downloaded the file, please hang on because you don't need it. You will get a really good insight to how the tools work, even though if you don't have downloaded anything. So please hang on nonetheless. Okay, let's get started. So when I think that to get a best possible understanding of how you can use the tool, I just created a case. So let's say I'm a controller and my manager have asked me to build a report that shows all projects for my company and how profitable they are. And he wants the report to contain total revenue, gross margin, hours per project and per employee, top projects sorted by revenue. He wants to filter on business unit, and he wants this report for both his computer and for his phone. So if I had more time, I would really like to show you how you could use, for example, the BI Builder to extract data and connect to it, or to connect to it in PowerBI Desktop. But since we don't have so much time, I want to, our base is like, we have our database, we have connected to it. So our starting point is, you got your data source. How do you get started with Power BI? Which visuals do you choose, and how do you use them? How can you change the layout on the report or directly on the visuals? If you want to add some own measures, how can you do that? And if you want to share your report with someone, how do you do that? And of course, the last one, you want to view it on your phone. So these 6 points are what we going to try to cover. So yeah, let me jump into Power BI Desktop. Okay. So as I showed you earlier, this is what you this is how it looks when you log into Power BI Desktop. So what I've done now, I've connected to my data source. This is data from an analysis service database, but we have imported the data, and yeah, it's ready to start building. So what I'm going to show you now is how I approach it when I build a report. I'm not saying that is the best way for everyone, but this is how I like to do it. Yeah, let's get started. So first of all, just let us give this a name. Let's call it webinar. And then I like to first of all format the background a bit. That's just details, but yeah, I'll show you later why I do it. So on the right hand side here below the visuals, you have this editing field. When you are in Power BI Desktop, just on the main site, you are editing the whole report layout. So just click on that and go to page background, and I'm going to choose the lightest gray color. I think it's a bit too dark, so you can add some transparency to it. Let's say 65%. You see it gets lighter. Okay, so that's the first thing I do. So we can also give this report a title. Then I usually add like a text box. You could add your logo here as well, of course, to insert an image or something. But let's add a text box with a title. So what I did, I went to Home and I just clicked on text box. Oops. Yeah. So it's something to start writing in the text box, but then I can't format the color on the text or something. So what I usually do when it's a title box, I just I'm on the visualization and just enable the title, and I just write project. So let's make the font, I want it white, and I want the background to be black. Let's make the text, yeah. Okay. Just drag it, make it a bit smaller, and drag it all the way there. Yeah, so then you have a title. Then I usually start with the filters because I like to use as little space on filters as I can because I want to save the space for informative visualizations. So you can add filters in several ways. You have this slicer here, for example. You can choose that. And if I remember from my case, my manager wanted to have a filter on business unit. So if you just click on that one, which is called the slicer, and you are on the slicer here, just click on business unit, and then you have the possibility to choose from these ones. But I usually use one that is imported, a custom visual. So let me show you how you can download some custom visuals. Here on PowerBI.com you have the visuals library. These are visuals you can use, you can download and use that different people have developed. And I like to use, let's take the smart filter there because I'm going to use that later. Just click on that, download visual, I agree. And then you have the slicer that I talked about that I'm going to use now, the chiclet slicer. Just click on that, download, I agree. So go back to PowerBI Desktop and you see those 3 dots there. Just click on them, import a custom visual. Then you get this message, import, and just click on the ones you downloaded. And I'll do this. Sorry, are there any questions or? Okay, I'll do the same with the smart filter. Great, okay. And then we have 2 custom visuals that we can use. And as you saw, there are a lot of different you can use that is great for different purposes. Okay, so I want to add a filter or a slicer on the business unit. So I just click on the chiclet slicer, which I downloaded, and I choose business units again. So let's drag that a bit out. Okay, now you see you have these slicers to choose from. So later on when we get more visuals, when you click on these ones, the data will change. So let me just format this a bit. So in the editing part here, I always remove the header because the people who are viewing the reports, they know what this is. Don't need to waste space on a header on this. And I can, if I go to the general part and say I want 5 columns instead of 4, then I get everything in one row. And then you see there's a blank here as well. That's because this is test data. So now I'm going to, I don't want to display the blank here now. And then you see on the side here, you have page level filters, report level filters. If I click on a visual, you also have visual level filters. I don't want to display the blanks, so I'm going to use this page level filter to remove it. It is great to use these filters if there are certain kind of data you don't want to display. For example, it could be anything. And the report level filter, that is for the whole report, right? If you have several pages, you can add a filter here, and that would apply for all the pages. And then the page level filter is, of course, for the one page you add the filter on. And the visual level filter is for the specific visual. I'm going to add a page level filter here. So let's take business unit name, drag it down to page level filter. Then you see you could either select all and then remove the blank, or you can do advanced filtering and say show items when the value is not blank and apply filter. Yeah. So just gonna do one last thing, just gonna make the text a bit smaller here. Okay, so then we have our filter. So let me just double check. Yeah. Then we have our filter. So then we're going to start with our first informative visual. I like to start with something called the card, or I call it the fact box. It's a visual that is great for giving information real quickly, like for example for the revenue. So let's see how that looks. So just click on the card visual here, and as I remembered, my manager wants to see total actual revenue, gross margin, and some other things, but let's start with the revenue. Okay, and that's just a simple fact that you display on the card. So make it a bit smaller here. And you see now it kind of blends in with the background, and this is why I chose to format the background in gray. So I could, on the visuals, I could just take the background and go into the editing field again on the visual, go into the background, enable it, choose white, and remove the transparency. Then you see it's much easier to see. Yeah, let's make it a bit smaller. And maybe you want to display this in the currency that you operate in, for example. So if you click on the actual revenue and go to modeling, then you have the option to you could also do that in your data, but I will do it here right now. So let's click on the $sign here and choose United States. Then you see it changes to dollar. You can also remove the decimals, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, great. So let's add another one. We want the actual gross margin. I'll just follow the same procedure as I did on the first one. Great. And let's get that into dollars as well. Good. And let's add another one. Actual hours. And that's as good as it is. Maybe we could just... Oops. Oh, the text box is still there. Yeah. And just make that white as well. So now we have 3 of these cards here, and I want to have them in the same size. Of course, I could just adjust them here, right, and try to make them look the same, but the most efficient is to find, like, if we say this is the size we want, the first one here, just click on that, go to the editing part again, down to general, and say we want to have this in the width here. We get 220, and we say 90 on the height, and then we can go on the next one and just type in the same 220, 90. Yeah, and you could actually also use the X and Y positions to position them exactly alike, but I'm not gonna use time on that. So now we have 3 different cards here with information. So I want to add I want to add another one. I want to calculate the actual gross margin in percent. And we don't have that, of course, from AX. So that is something we have to measure or calculate. So now we're going to create something called a custom measure. So if you go on home here and you click on new measure, then you get a new field here, and then you just replace the measure with, let's call it gross margin percent. And when you do measures in PowerBI Desktop, you use something called DIX expressions, or data analytics expressions. It can be quite complex, and we're not going into depth on that now, but it has a lot of possibilities to do a lot of things. You can read more about that on the Power BI site, for example. So what we're going to do now, we're going to divide the actual gross margin on the actual revenue. So there are several ways to do this, but one of them are just to use the divide function, of course. So just write divide, and on the numerator we want to divide the sum of, and you see they suggest, the expression suggests the data from your table here. So we want to divide the sum of actual gross margin, parentheses, and the denominator would be the sum of actual revenue, parentheses, and just click enter. So now you have created a custom measure. Let's see if it works. Click on a new card and go down till you find the gross margin percent, and just click on that. Yeah, it works. Good. So let's format the 2% and remove the decimals. So that is how you can create custom measures, just like an easy custom measures. It could be done. It could do some very advanced calculations, but just to show you some of the possibilities. Let's format this in the same size as the other ones. And enable the background. Okay, great. I like to place the cards like kinda in the middle of the report. I like to do it because the cards give you like instant information, maybe about important KPIs or something, and when you open a report, you're automatically like focused on the middle of the report. So I think I like to do it that way. Okay, now I'm gonna jump back to the presentation just to see. Okay, we have total revenue and total gross margin. Now I want to add something regarding the projects and the employees. So let's create a table, and then I will choose this. Yeah, this is just a regular table. I'll place it over here, and I'm going to start with the personnel number for the people who has worked on projects. So just find your field. You can also just clean up your data when you have imported it, like rename the fields here for remove worker, and just have like personnel number, and yeah, that is quite easy. Just press on these three buttons and rename. I won't do it now. So let's have the personnel number, and we could have the first name, last name, and actual hours. Let's drag that a bit out. Yeah, that's great. Real quick, I have a nice table, but I want to format this a bit because it looks kind of yeah, it doesn't look that good. So if you are on the table visual, go to the editing field again, table style, and let's choose the alternating rows. And you see it changes to a much more nicer format. Yeah, I'll put it over there. And then, if you remember from earlier, I downloaded this smart filter. I like to use this when I'm gonna search for something in the data. So here I want my manager to be able to search on personnel number, for example. Then I just choose the smart filter and find the personnel number again. Yeah. Then I can place it there. Maybe a bit up, sorry. Now we have a search box you can use. Let's say, for example, yeah, see, as you type, it starts to make suggestions. So it's really good. Okay. Then I want to add some information about the specific projects. And I'm going to use this matrix visual. I think that's great as well for displaying data in like a table format. Let's just, if you are on the visual, we could have, yeah, the project name I want. Project name, that one. So you could also click on these when you are choosing them, but you could also drag them here onto the rows. I want the project name. And for the columns, let's say date, quarter. Oops, drag it down on the columns. Let's just place these a bit up. I'll make it a bit smaller. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then we could have the values could be actual hours. And then you see you have, for each quarter, you have data, you get the hours for your projects. And the total per project, and the total per quarter as well. So let's do the same we did with the table there. Let's format this a bit. So just click on the visual, on the editing field, matrix style, and let's take the bold header, flashy rows. Yeah, looks great. And maybe we could add a filter here as well on the project name. There. There. So let's just try. If we want to, let's say Alpine Electronics, press on that one, and then you get the hours for the project. You get the hours here as well, and you see that matches up. That's good. And then you see every person who has worked on this project and how many hours the person, the individuals has used, and you see everything, the sum matches up. So that's great. Yeah, remove that one. Okay, it looks a little bit small. Yeah, not going to use so much time on fine-tuning the layout here now. We don't have so much time, so yeah. Okay, so now we have provided information about the total revenue. We have the gross margin, both in number and percent, and we have the actual hours in total, and per worker and per project. So let's add some more graphs and more visual visualizations. Let's make a pie chart. Most of you are probably familiar with a regular pie chart, but I think it's good to show, yeah, like which projects are the largest or most time consuming, for example. So let's, on the legend, let's take project name again, drag it up on the legend. And on the values, let's take the actual hours. Make it a bit smaller here. Okay, so I'm just gonna edit the title a bit. So go into the editing field again, and then to the title, just remove that. Say and make it black. I can make the text. Yeah. And then I will make the background also white on this one. So you see, when you have a different color on the visuals and a bit darker background, it kind of pops out more, and yeah, I think it's easier to navigate with your eyes, and yeah. Great. And now you see, for example, on city manufacturing here, you see that's one of our largest projects. If you click on that, everything changes. And then you have the revenue, the gross margin, and the hours for city manufacturing. You see it changes here as well. And then you have the all the workers. So that's really good. And if you just hold your mouse over here, you see you see, for example, the project name, the actual hours, and the percentage of the grand total. That's good. Okay, so let's make another one. Let's make the line and stacked column chart here. So here I want to use, I want to display some data per, some monthly data or something. And I want to show not just the revenue in total here, but I want to show the revenue like for every year. So I'm going to show you two things here. I'm going to show you this visual, of course, and I'm going to show you also how you can make a hierarchy. A hierarchy is if you want to make something that you drill down to in one visual. You can. It's really easy to make that in Power BI. So just let me show you here. If we can make the hierarchy. And let's say the highest level in our hierarchy, I will make a date hierarchy, is year. And the next should be quarter, and the next month, and so on. So if we take the date quarter, let's take that one, and drag it onto date year, then you see the date year hierarchy is created, which you can choose from. And let's also take date month on this one. So now I want to display the revenue. So drag that down to the column values, to revenue, and you see now it's just a total. And on the line value, I want the gross margin. And then on the shared axis, which is the shared axis between the column and the lines, I want to display my date hierarchy. Okay, this is test data, so we haven't got so much data in 2013 and 2014, and mostly in 2011 and 12. But this is just to show you how you can do it. So let's just format the background real quick, like that. Move this a bit up. So I'll have space for my next visual. Yeah. And then you see you have these arrows here pointing down. If you click on that one, you see, oh, you jump straight back. You jump straight into the quarterly overview. That's great. And if you go further down, you got the monthly. Of course, now the monthly won't make any sense because this is monthly for many years, but it was just to show you. Usually I work with a separate date table. That's the best way to do it. So you have your data, and then you have a date table that is connected. But this is a great way to like display 3 visuals in one, if you know what I mean. So that's good. Let's do a last one here before I show you how you can share this with someone and publish it. So I'm going to choose the same one as there, because if you remember from my case, my manager wanted to view the top projects by revenue. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show my projects by, I want to show the hours, I want to show the gross margin, but I want to sort them by revenue. Let's say we will take our top 10 projects. So on the visual here, I will have actual hours on the column values. Oops. There. And we'll take gross margin on the line values. And we'll take the projects. Projects here on the shared axis. Okay, so now we have a lot of projects down here, right? Of course, it gives you some kind of information when you hold over here, but I think it's too many to display in a visual that small, at least. So if you, yeah, let's just format the background again. Yeah. And when you are here, I showed you the page level filter, right? Values that are not blank, we are not displaying that on the business unit. But now I'm going to show you how you can do a visual level filter. So we want our top 10 projects. So just expand the project field on the visual level filter and go to top N. And then I'm going to say I want the top 10. And the top 10 by which value? The revenue. Yeah, I see I did something wrong here. I chose that one. I should have the actual gross margin. And then we're going to go back here. Top N. Actual revenue. Oh, there you go. So just right, you go on the visual level filter on the project, choose the top number you want to view, and you choose the effect you want to measure it against. So now we have our top 10 projects, and we display the hours and the gross margin per project. And if I click on see the manufacturing again, you see everything changes. That's really good. Okay, we're running out of time, so I'm gonna speed up. Okay, so I think in very little time, of course I knew what data I was going to choose, but still we have created a great informative report with very little time. So if I say I'm happy with this, I want to publish it. So first save it, and then I'm going to sign in here. Yes. Oops. Great, I'm signed in. So before I sign in, before I publish, I'm going to go back into Power BI. So if I scroll up here, I see these. You see where it stands My Workspace. These are the groups that you belong to, and this is a great function to use if you are going to collaborate on reports or dashboards with colleagues, or share dashboards and reports. You have to have a pro license to use the group functionality. So just click on Create Group, and I'm going to name my group Webinar Group. Private, only approved members can see what's inside. and members can edit the Power BI content. If you want to add content here which members should only view, you just choose that. So I'm going to share this now with, say, Jakob, and add. And now he's a member, and when I publish this Power BI Desktop report, he can edit this as well, and he get access to it on his Power BI account. So just click Save. And now you have a new workspace here. And of course it's empty because I haven't published anything yet. So go back into Power BI Desktop, go to Home, click Publish. Now you see you can select from the groups that you have. So let's choose the webinar group. This shouldn't take long. Success, got it. So if you now go back to PowerBI.com, you see you have a dataset, which is the dataset you based on your reports on. You have your reports. And now Jakob, which I shared it with, he can go in and look at this. So that's really good. So you see you don't have any dashboards yet because this is a report. So let me show you how you can create a dashboard. You can create a dashboard from scratch, but I'm going to show you how you can create a dashboard from a report. I try to be real quick here. So you see this pin here. Let's use this one. You see this pin? That means pin visual, pin to a dashboard. Yeah. So if I click on that one, you get this message, pin to dashboard. Create a new dashboard. Call it webinar dashboard. Pin, and then do the same with the other ones. Yeah, you see you get a suggestion now, the existing dashboard, so just pin, do with that one, oops, that one, yeah, and the last one. I don't use like tables for dashboards because they don't provide instant information like these visuals. Of course you can do it. You see now you have a new webinar dashboard, and it looks like this. It looks great, and probably you will have more visuals to fill the canvas, but this was just to show you. And if you click on these three dots here, the last point that in our case was to be able to view this on your phone. So if you click on phone here, phone version, if you switch to the phone version, okay, just continue. Then you have how this will look on your application. So on the Power BI application. So you can, for example, now move this one or place that one up there. Oops. That one up there. Or if you want to unpin something, you do that. Just pin it back. Yeah. So now you can change the layout on the mobile report. So let's get back to the web report. So what I've done now, I have created a report in Power BI Desktop. I published it to a group which I created in Power BI and shared it with a colleague of mine. If I hadn't created a group and just published the report directly onto your own workspace, my workspace here, it's only you that have access to the data. That's important to say. So to share reports, you do it like I did on a group, or you can share like a dashboard. For example, this dashboard, if you click on these three dots here, and you have, oh sorry, it's this share function here. Click on that one and just directly enter the email. That's one way to do it. But I think the group function is real good. Like if you want to share dashboards or reports with a lot of people, you can just add and remove people there to give them access. Yeah, that was, let me jump back into my presentation. Yeah, I had some pictures there. Here, let me just from current slide. This is from the mobile layout. I would love to show you a live demo of the Power BI mobile application, but I can't do that. So what you do when you want to download the application, you just go to App Store if you have an iPhone, and it is also available for Android or your tablet. Just download it, log in with the same user account you used when you registered for Power BI, and then these three pictures here are just examples of how it would look. And then you can navigate. If you see the rightmost picture here, that is this visual. If you click on that, you get this overview, and you can also get access to the report on your phone. So I think it's a really good application, and the application is free. Of course. So that was my demo. Yeah, Power BI mobile application. So let's just sum up real quick. We have gone through what Power BI is. Power BI Desktop, the front-end tool you use to create the reports, and Power BI Com, or the Power BI service, where you publish the reports, you view them, you share them, analyze them. Power BI versus Power BI Pro. You get some advantages with Pro, for example, the group functionality I just illustrated. Yeah, and we have created a report in Power BI Desktop. We have made visuals. I've shown you how to download custom visuals. We have done some formatting, some one easy custom measure. I show you how you can make drill down hierarchies, and it's important to mention that you can make drill down hierarchies for many things, not just dates. You can make it like first you want to see projects, then you want to see clients, and yeah, for example. We have created groups and we have shared reports, and we have set up the dashboard for both computer and mobile application. So I have some links here as well. We will be distributing the slides, and the video will be available. Have some links regarding Power BI, of course, Power BI Desktop, and the Power BI community. You get a lot of there's a lot of questions and answers there. And also check out Guy in a Cube on YouTube. He has a lot of good videos on Power BI, from basic ones to more technical advanced ones. So I used to watch those videos a lot. They're great. And also we are having another Scales webinar about the BI Builder I mentioned. So please, if you want to sign up for this, you have the link here. And also check out our BI Builder website, Scales YouTube channel, and the Scales news, where you can sign up for our business intelligence newsletter, for example. So if any of you now got going with Power BI and you got stuck or something, I haven't seen all the comments because Jakob has answered them. We will hang on a bit now after the webinar, so you could talk to us and we could help you, and maybe we can offer some one-to-one support if needed. So for those of you who are leaving us now, thank you very much for your attention. Please feel free to contact us. And any feedback on the webinar are highly appreciated. And if you have any questions about Power BI, please contact me. If you have any questions about the BI Builder, contact Søren Sparse. And for business intelligent implementations and projects, contact Jakob Bjergheis. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and have a nice evening. I will hang on now, and Jakob will as well, so please write to us if you need some help. Thank you.